in U.S. elections, what really happened in 2016, 2020, and 2024, and beyond. Welcome once again to Spin Cycle America, where we talk about what is going on in the world today. We are just here to have a conversation, and we just hit the facts. I'm your host, Todd. So grab a cup of coffee, sit back and relax. Let's get started. Foreign interference. It's there, and here it is. Hey everyone, welcome back again to day 2 of our 6-day series on election integrity under scrutiny. Yesterday on day 1, we covered the basics, what election fraud actually is, how rare proven cases are, and why fixing real weaknesses matters. Today we're diving into foreign interference. This is a hot topic. Countries like Russia, Iran, and China have clear reasons to mess with our elections. But what did they actually do? Did they actually change votes? Or was it mostly online tricks to stir up trouble? Hey, those places there, those 3 countries there, that's all they want to do most of the time, is cause trouble. It's in their DNA. We'll stick to official reports, intelligence, and assessments, and documented facts. Remember, that's all I give here. Interference and influences. First, let's clear up the difference, or the important differences between the two. Election interference means directly messing with the voting process, like hacking machines, changing vote counts, or tampering with registration systems. Election influence means trying to shape opinions, spreading disinformation, hacking emails, and leaking them, or using social media to divide Americans. That one's a big one. Both are serious problems, but hey, they're not the same thing. One tries to steal the elections mechanically, the other tries to mess with votes or voters' heads. The problem is one side keeps yelling foul and the other side says there's nothing to see here. However, if it is being brought up, then I truly believe there is something to see. But maybe not a lot, but there is something. So let's talk about that. So back in 2016, Russia had some indictments and what they covered. All right, so the biggest cases was in 2016, July 2018, Justice Department indicted 12 Russian military intelligence officers for their role in interfering in the elections, what they did. So they hacked Democratic National Committee, DNC, and Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee networks. They stole emails, documents, then leaked them through the Crucifer 2.0 and the DCL leaks to hurt Hillary Clinton and help Donald Trump. So look, it's on both sides of the aisle. So if you think your closet's clean, you better double check again, because it's probably dirty. Also probed states, elections, websites, voter registration, databases in multiple states, and even breached at least one country's network and vendor and supplied election softwares. This was serious cyber activity ordered by the Russian government. However, the indictment and follow-up investigations, including the bipartisan Senate Intelligence Committee officer or report, found no evidence that they changed any vote tallies, altered ballots, or successfully manipulated the actual counting of votes. They accused some voter data, but there's no indication they modified registration records in any way that affected who could vote or how votes were counted. So in 2024, what the Intelligence Committee found was this. Fast forward to 2020. The Intelligence Committee assessment was very clear. We have no indications that any foreign actor attempted to alter any technical aspects of the voter process, including voter registration, casting ballots, voter tabulations, or reporting results. So when the left was saying back then that the right was causing problems, it was wrong. There was no proof of it. Russia, Iran, and others ran heavy influence campaigns, disinformation, fake stories, trying to scare voters or undermine trust. But again, no successful tampering with actual voting systems. So they just tried to scare people into doing one thing or the other. Same story in 2024. CISA, FBI, and the ODNI statement said foreign actors, especially Russia, there you go again, our good buddies the Russians, pushed influence ops and deep fakes, but there was no evidence of interference that changed votes to disrupt the elections in infrastructures. So if you're hearing the left saying foul, they were wrong because there was no proof. None. No proof. Bottom line, from officials across multiple elections, foreign countries tried hard to influence us, but our systems held up against direct vote tampering. Broader, in 2016 findings, the U.S. Intelligence Committee and Senate reports confirmed that Russia ran sophisticated campaigns to boost Trump and hurt Hillary Clinton. All right, I mentioned that a little bit earlier, okay? So they tried back then, but they were unsuccessful. Okay? Why it's hard for them and the ongoing risks? All right, so let's talk about that. Why is direct interference so difficult? Most voting systems, so here's why. So most voting systems are not connected to the internet. They're not. You go there and you'll see that they are not connected to the internet. We use paper ballots in many places, plus audits and risks limiting checks after the election. Foreign actors would need to beat all those layers without getting caught, which is extremely tough at scale. But risks do remain. Cyber probes and scanning still happen. Disinformation is getting more sophisticated with AI now in place, so that could be the problem. We must stay vigilant. This is why countries will use internet and to their advantage to spread misinformation. So in most cases, when candidates on their side or the other side of the aisle are yelling foul and pointing fingers, they probably really don't have much of a case. Okay, because there's a lot of walls and things like that that are on their favor or on their side to prevent tampering. Though there are individuals that do try to within this counting force, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on one of my other episodes. No one says they can't check it out. They have the right to. It's a prerogative, meaning each candidate can check out to see if they're being tampered with, if the bad guys or somebody looked into their system or tried to I don't know, use misinformation or to have dead people to vote or whatever the case may be. But the good news is, okay, we've learned from our mistakes and we've learned to fight back. So we've gotten better at this. So Hunt Forward, which is cyber teams go after threats overseas. Better coordination between CISA, states, and private companies. Faster public warnings and disinformation about disinformation. The key takeaways: foreign influence is real and dangerous because it erodes trust. Direct vote stealing. Much harder and not something that succeed in recent cyber or cycles according to the evidence. So it's there, but we're able to counteract it, if that makes sense. But here's the biggest problem: trust. Right now in the United States, trust is the biggest problem. Trust is gone. No one trusts anyone. The left doesn't trust the right. The right doesn't trust the left. We need to be able to talk to the other side. They can't talk to each other. They can't even sit down in the same room without yelling at each other, without considering the other side being a traitor. If the other side if the left catches somebody from their side talking to the right, or the right catches somebody talking to the left, they consider that person a traitor. Really? Come on, at the end of the day, we're all Americans. Isn't it all about, we're all on the same side in the end. So here's the closing. That's day 2. Tomorrow we're going to talk about mail-in and absentee ballots. The convenience and the real risk. This is where it really gets tough. Documented fraud cases and how to make them safer. This is what I talked about a few minutes ago about somebody else is trying to count those mail-in ballots or steal them or hide them or get rid of them. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What concerns you most about foreign meddling? Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you catch every episode of this series. All sources and links are in the description below. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow on the next episode of Spin Cycle America. You all have an outstanding day.